Welcome to Fabloria, where we listen, we relax, and we enjoy timeless fairy tale stories. In a distant, picturesque region of Korea, nestled between rolling hills and the calm whispers of the sea, lived a gentle couple, Jonathan and Clara. They were well known for their kindness and generosity, and though their lives were simple, they were full of warmth and love. Their greatest treasure, however, was their only daughter, Isabella. From the moment she was born, Isabella was the very embodiment of beauty and innocence. Her eyes were as deep and serene as a mountain lake, her hair dark and lustrous like the midnight sky, and her smile illuminated every corner of the home, as radiant as the moonlight on calm waters. To Jonathan and Clara, she was a miracle, a precious gift they cherished more than life itself. Isabella's charm, however, stirred envy in the hearts of many. Among the girls of the neighborhood, jealousy festered like a hidden flame, for no one could match her natural elegance and gentle demeanor. Fearing that the outside world could harm her precious daughter or tarnish her innocence, Jonathan and Clara often restricted Isabella's interactions with other children. As a result, Isabella's only companion became a tiny, clever black cat she named Midnight, who followed her everywhere, listening as she spoke of her hopes, dreams, and the stories her heart held. One serene morning, Isabella set out to the seashore to wash the family's clothes, her small basket in hand. The beach was alive with the chatter of other villagers performing their daily tasks, yet her presence drew a subtle attention despite her simple attire. Her plain dress and bare feet did nothing to hide her charm. On the contrary, there was a quiet grace in her movements that captivated every gaze. A group of 7 girls from the village, who had long harbored resentment toward Isabella, watched her from the shade of a grove nearby. Among them, the most cunning and bold was Veronica. She was sharp-eyed and quick-witted, her mind always plotting mischief. Veronica whispered to her companions, "Look at her, how she walks with such confidence, making the world hers. She is always so innocent, yet her aura draws everyone's admiration." Another girl, Elaine, scoffed, "Yes, but we know her tricks are only surface charm. Deep down, she's nothing special. Still, it irritates me that no one pays attention to us because of her presence." Their whispered complaints dripped with envy, each girl's words a seed of malice. Veronica, her eyes narrowing, spoke firmly, "Enough of this. It's time Isabella learns her place. We will teach her a lesson she won't forget." The next day, as Isabella sat at the water's edge scrubbing clothes, the 7 girls approached, feigning friendliness. Veronica led the way, her voice soft and sweet. "Good morning, Isabella. How are you today?" Isabella, unaware of their true intentions, smiled warmly and replied, "Hello, friends. I'm well. And you?" One by one, the other girls joined in with flattering words, weaving a web of charm and deceit around Isabella. Naturally trusting and kind-hearted, she took their friendliness at face value and began conversing with them, feeling a strange kinship she had never known before. Little did she realize, these friendships were a trap. For weeks, Isabella visited the shore with the 7 girls, chatting and laughing, sharing stories and growing comfortable in their company. Then, one afternoon, as Isabella worked near the waves, Veronica whispered conspiratorially, "Tomorrow, we're going to a place unlike any you've ever seen, a world of dreams. Will you come with us?" Isabella's eyes widened with curiosity. "A world of dreams? What is that?
I've never heard of such a place." Elaine replied with sparkling excitement. "It's a magical realm beyond the horizon. The air is scented with flowers from heaven. Mountains glimmer pink in sunlight, and the homes are woven with enchantment. The fairies who dwell there are breathtaking, beautiful beyond belief, much like you." The thought of such a world made Isabella's heart flutter with longing, yet her expression softened with hesitation. "I wish I could go, but I have my chores, and my parents would never allow me to wander off alone."
Veronica smiled slyly. "Don't worry, we have a solution. If we finish your chores for you, you can come with us. No one will know." Isabella hesitated for a moment, then agreed, allowing herself a rare taste of adventure. The next morning, while Isabella tended to household tasks, the 7 girls appeared at her door, offering their help. Together they completed the work, and Isabella, with midnight safely in her arms, set off with them to the shore. A small boat awaited, drifting gently near the waves. They all climbed aboard, and the vessel glided into the deep, uncharted waters. Isabella marveled at the beauty around her, her heart pounding with excitement and awe. But suddenly, Veronica seized the moment, shoving Isabella into the cold, swirling sea. A splash echoed across the waves as Isabella sank beneath the surface, her long hair flowing around her like dark tendrils in the water. Panic gripped her chest as she flailed helplessly, her cries swallowed by the ocean. For a terrifying moment, despair overcame her, and darkness threatened to claim her. Yet, just as she felt her strength waning, she found herself encased in a glowing, protective cocoon, gently lifted by the current into a small, enchanted boat. The waves calmed, and the vessel guided itself to a distant, radiant shore. Stepping onto the sand, Isabella beheld a surreal sight. A young man, tall and regal, stood before her. His appearance was humanoid, strikingly handsome, yet his head bore delicate, feline-like ears that twitched with awareness. Isabella froze, unsure whether to be frightened or amazed. Where am I?" she whispered. The young man smiled warmly, his eyes twinkling with kindness. "This is the realm of dreams, Isabella. You were brought here because your heart belongs to its wonders. Fear not, I will guide you safely home." Isabella's thoughts raced. Memories of betrayal, of the girl's cruel trick flooded back. "But my parents, what if they worry?" she stammered. The young man knelt beside her, assuring her gently, "Trust me, by morning you will be returned safely. Do not fear." As they walked together, he snapped his fingers, and a cascade of colorful butterflies filled the air, their delicate wings sparkling in sunlight. Isabella gasped in delight, forgetting her sorrow, mesmerized by the magical scene. He led her further into the dreamland, where laughter echoed, music floated on the wind, and joyous faces danced in celebration. She felt lighter than ever, her heart filled with wonder and gratitude. Later, they shared a meal in a serene glade, sitting upon cushions woven from enchanted flowers. Isabella tasted foods she had never known, each bite more delightful than the last. Laughter and conversation flowed freely, and she felt a deep sense of safety and belonging she had never experienced before. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, the young man led her back to the shore. Isabella's eyes widened in amazement at the beauty surrounding her, and her heart swelled with gratitude. "Thank you for saving me," she whispered, tears glistening. The young man's form shifted, the feline ears fading, and in their place a regal young prince emerged. "I am Prince Marcus of this realm," he said. "I have watched over you for a long time, keeping you safe. I loved you even in disguise, for only then could I stay near you without frightening you." Isabella's eyes widened. "But how? Why?" she asked, overwhelmed. Marcus smiled softly. "My mother was a fairy, and my father the king. Magic flows in my blood. I could take many forms, but none compare to this moment, standing here with you." Blushing with a mixture of awe and shyness, Isabella looked down. Marcus took her hand gently, his grip warm and reassuring. "Isabella, will you trust me to bring you home safely and share your life with me?" he asked. Isabella nodded, her heart full of hope and excitement. "Yes, I trust you completely." With utmost care, Marcus returned her to her home. Her parents, Jonathan and Clara, had been anxious and sorrowful, fearing the worst. Seeing Isabella safe, their eyes filled with tears of relief and joy. Isabella ran into their arms, recounting every detail, the treachery of her former companions, the magical journey, and the prince who had saved her. Jonathan and Clara, overcome with gratitude, embraced Marcus, acknowledging the deep love he had shown for their daughter. The very next day, Jonathan and Clara, proud and overjoyed, formally approached Marcus and his family to seek Isabella's hand in marriage. The proposal was accepted with joy, and preparations began for a grand wedding celebration. On the day of the ceremony, the festivities dazzled all who attended, the air alive with music, laughter, and the colors of 1,000 decorations. Isabella and Marcus, radiant and joyful, began their life together, filled with love, trust, and harmony. From that day on, Isabella's life transformed. She and Marcus shared adventures, laughter, and a partnership rooted in mutual respect and devotion. The events she endured, betrayal, danger, and the magic of the realm of dreams, had forged a strength and resilience within her. Together, the prince and his beloved princess built a life brimming with wonder, compassion, and enchantment, their hearts forever entwined, as luminous as the dreamlike world that had once saved Isabella from despair.